hey.
This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very, very interesting. It's the long drive home. Trying to, get through all of this. Maybe go this way. I'm at the VA hospital, North Vegas. Just trying to leave. And I think I can go this way. Yeah. Oh. There was an accident or something. Okay. Yeah, the traffic is like really nuts trying to leave here. And I thought that there was another exit, but I guess they're redirecting all traffic this way. I'm gonna try to see if I can leave another way out of here. But how are you guys doing? And I've bored everyone that's come to check this video out at this point. I mean, I think I can go that way. I wonder, how are you guys? I'm here. And I thought that there was a way to leave this way. I'm not 100%. Anyway. What is going on? It's your oh so glorious and beloved Mace Valor. Trying to figure out. Oh, wait, yeah. I guess there is only one. I thought that there was another. I really did. Oh, wait. I think there's an exit this way. Yeah, there is. Interesting. Yeah, so there is an exit this way, but it's just as bad as the other one. So I'm gonna figure it out. It'll be all right. I'm just here, headed home. You know, the usual. So just trying to make some sense out of all this. Okay. Wonder if I can go this way. So to alleviate, no, there's only one way I can go. Yeah. A little bit of traffic for a while is what it is. No point in making a left. So I do have some video ideas I did want to talk about, but maybe when people get up in here, I have a whole bunch of it written out. Some scripted stuff. Actually, it's all scripted, but I do need to try to find the motivation to sit down and write. There's so many things going on lately. A lot of it, like now, all of it ties back to veteran affairs and trying to get all this stuff sorted. So the personal life stuff hinders the productivity on YouTube. And this guy's just trying to like cut in front of everyone. Anyway, I'm here. And I can't change the exposure on in the camera. That's great. So everything's gonna be super blown out. It is getting overcast, which is nice. Kind of mellows everything out. It's like, it's weird lately. It's like, there's so much that I want to say, but I'm having trouble conveying it. A lot of like weird political stuff too. So the Golden Globes happened and Ricky Gervais said what he said. And if you're not familiar with what Ricky Gervais has said recently, it was basically, it's like, come accept your award and then fuck off, basically. What's up? TaskRabbit ghosted me for 2 days. Well, what do you mean TaskRabbit ghosted you for 2 days? You haven't been getting work for 2 days? We can talk about that for a minute if you want. There's been a weird thing with the gig economy where, as an independent contractor, you are legally, from a legal perspective, you can't be punished for not accepting a job, right? Now, the definition of punishment, like, that's like, you can't be fired or kicked off or terminated or whatever because you're not an employee. The traditional things that you would do to punish I mean, you let me know. Are we talking assassinations? Assassinations? What the hell? You're not showing up in search. So this is the number one way to see if you're being limited in search. If you go on now there's the thing. I recommend that with a brand new email, a different email than the one that you normally use, make a client account, right? Or even better, look at it from the client perspective, because we can't tell if we're showing up if we're logged in for us, right? So what you want to do is incognito mode, complete incognito mode on your browser. Go to taskrabbit.com, put in your address where your work area is set up, and then kind of go from there. And make those things just right. So kind of fill out a request. Filtered by elite. Well, are you sure that you have elite status? That's another thing to ask, because just because it says on your app, on your end, that you're elite, it doesn't always show that for the client. I know that might sound weird. There have been months where I met the elite recommendations, and in the app it said, hey, you're elite. But it didn't show me that for the client, on the client side. The refreshing of the elite badge, I think, is actually, it's multiplied by 2. It's for like two months instead of 1. So even though for let's say the month of December that you met the elite requirements for that month, well, it's retroactive. Oh, well, we could talk about that. I love talking about politics from the sociological element of it, kind of like having the discussion and, this, that, and the other, and talking about the ramifications, of things and how we kind of fit into the bigger mold of it as a society. I like talking politics from that perspective, not so much to where like, well, I hate you because we disagree with each other. I'm the kind of guy where it's like, we might have fundamental disagreements politically, but that doesn't mean that I'll feel any type of way about you. I think that it's great that we have disagreements, because through disagreements, we try to find the middle ground and come together. I think it's very, very good to have forward, because you can't move forward unless you have these discussions, unless these different thoughts are brought to the light, the only way to make things clear and concise is to actually have a discussion. But going back to the whole gig economy TaskRabbit thing, man, I'm telling you, you gotta you gotta check out the incognito mode, and then when you've done all of that, and don't just filter by elite, just go straight broad, and don't look at just one avenue, look at multiple categories. So you might be suppressed in one category, not another. Another issue with that is the overabundance of taskers. So if you live in a market that has a whole lot of taskers, then there you go. That's a telltale sign of like, well, the algorithm for showing on the client end, that can be skewed to all hell because, hey, you might be in an area where there might be like 50 to 100 people all looking for work at the same time. So it's showing so many different people. Of course, it's going to weed out, one or two here or there. So you want to work with the algorithm just right so that you get thrown up to the top or somewhere near the top all the time. Because most people aren't going to scroll through 100 people or so. They might scroll through maybe the top 10, top 15 and kind of make a judgment from that. Because the human mind, the way we are, man, when we see like the first 10 people, to us, those might be the first 10 people. Those are probably the best people for the job, Yeah, great value is such a weird, you're usually in the top 3, and that's where you want to be. You do want to be in the top 3. Now, TaskRabbit, they're not going to disclose how their algorithm rates or lists people. They're not going to disclose that information, and I don't really expect them to. But on our end as taskers, it would be helpful to know this information. Now, the problem is that a lot of the algorithm for how we're listed, it reflects back on our metrics. So let's say, my acceptance rating is usually pretty low because I don't accept a lot of work. I don't, and that's because a lot of the requests I get, they're usually completely unrealistic. They don't have like the scope of the work is completely unrealistic. It's in the wrong category. It's just like there's a lot of telltale signs of I cannot accept this because it's beyond my bounds, either professionally or it's just unrealistic for the timetable and the work to be performed. Technically speaking, I shouldn't be docked acceptance for that because there's errors with the client and whatnot. So, but with TaskRabbit and how they do everything, if you decline a job, that reflects in your acceptance metrics. Acceptance should not be a metric at all. It doesn't matter I choose not to do a job. If someone requests me and I decline them, that should be the end of the story. TaskRabbit shouldn't care whatsoever for any reason if I'm being a part of this or not. That's the part that really kind of grinds my gears. Oh, dude, we all want to leave TaskRabbit this year. My goal is to stop working with them come April. Because come April, it's going to be mandatory for people that have been a part of TaskRabbit. April is when we need to get business licenses. And, it's TaskRabbit's going a really weird direction because of Assembly Bill 5 in California. Because it's happening in California, they're rolling it out for all taskers. So all taskers across the board have to adhere to the AB5 policies because TaskRabbit does not, and they aren't messing around with this. They do not want us to be seen as employees. Because the moment that we become employees, that's a crazy amount of overhead for TaskRabbit. So, I mean, there's so many ins and outs to it. But TaskRabbit, I gotta hand it to them. They're trying to live by the law of the land, and I get it from a business perspective. The downside is for the people that make their platform successful, they're making it very hard for us. So one of the number one things that TaskRabbit is doing is they're getting rid of support. First and foremost, they're getting rid of support. I mean, you can see in the last 6-7 months, their support has been really non-existent. And the reason why that is happening is because, you look at, providing support to a tasker, to a technician, or handyman, or whatever you want to call it. When they offer support to us, that could be misconstrued as an employer-employee relationship. So instead of like kind of migrating support to the next level of like, hey, we're also a payment threshold, let's kind of focus on payment threshold stuff, or or let's deal with unresponsive clients when you're already at the job. Like, let's deal with like very, very specific use cases. What they're doing is they're kind of going broad spectrum, so it's really hard to get a hold of them for anything. And if you talk to them about anything at all, it's extremely difficult. So one of the big things is with IKEA tasks, right? So if you're in the IKEA flat rate assembly program, it's very difficult when an issue does arise. And a lot of our clients aren't very tech savvy. A lot of clients that do the flat rate, they're not very tech savvy, or they're not familiar with how to do it at all. So their first, like, let's say you go to a job, flat rate IKEA, and it's the items that you're being requested to assemble, they're not the right ones. They're not the same as the ones that are before you, right? So you need to make those adjustments. Well, you as a tasker, you cannot make those adjustments. It has to be the client. So from a consumer standpoint, it's extremely stressful for the consumer to do that. The number one way to fix this would be if the tasker was able to make those changes, have the client agree in writing in chat to have those changes made, and then bam, we don't have to worry about support whatsoever. The fact that the client has to go and try to figure it out is really difficult. And this comes back down to the whole IKEA flat rate assembly being made at the showroom floor. You would think for the consumer it'd be this easy peasy thing, but a lot of times the people at the showroom floor, they don't understand what we have to go through. So from their perspective, oh, we just put this in the computer, we send it out, that's it, it'll be taken care of. They don't understand that, oh, taskers, we have to have a dialogue, we have to confirm, we have to make sure that everything is, like, there's still another step for a client from IKEA that purchased furniture and wants assembly. There's an additional step that has to be made, with the person doing the assembly and the client. And a lot of these times when they do this stuff, they think it's set and forget. So they get an email that says, oh, well, you want me to do your assembly? Like, here's XYZ that I need from you, place, time, etc. And they don't want to have to go through that. Then they get really aggravated that there's an additional step. And then the complications and stuff, and well, what is an article number? I don't know. It's a table. It's like there's like this complication that comes up between us and the client, and that stems from how this information is conveyed by IKEA. Now, IKEA, they just want to sell it as much as possible, and I get that from a business perspective, but for the end consumer and the tasker, it turns into a massive headache. That's something that they definitely need to address moving forward. And like I said, the easiest way to do that is twofold. One is clear communication with IKEA. It's like, oh, here's your assembly, download this app, or convey the conversation, like educate the customer, and like, here's how we handle assembly. We'll initiate it all for you, but it will be finalized by the third party, being the tasker. That would be the perfect way to start things off, and the perfect way to finish it is to give the tasker the ability to change what's being assembled, and at the same time make sure that the customer agrees to it. That way we have everything in writing. These are things that I think that if these things were done, it would help that element of the platform tremendously. But unfortunately it's done very loosey-goosey. One of the big things with the IKEA platform that I have is just how somewhat random things are. It's like you'll go to a job, and one of the things that they have, like I've had this happen before, is I've had clients that'll hire me, it's a request that's flat rate through IKEA, and what they'll do is they'll manually go on and request me, and what they'll do is they'll choose the cheapest option possible just to get me there, just to make the request a thing. So then, I talk to the client, I'm like, oh, what item do you need to assemble? Oh, it's this PAX wardrobe or whatever. It's like, well, you chose ×2 all of their mounting. And they're like, well, yeah, according to the website, this is all I have to pay. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. It's not the correct item. That's not all their mounting. That's a PAX wardrobe, so many, with the appropriate dimensions. This is incorrect. And, there are so many times where I've had clients that try to sneak in like that. And that happens with regular furniture assembly too. A lot of times clients, very recently I had a request, and it was a very lucrative opportunity. It was for a Murphy bed. I would say don't put together Murphy beds, because even with IKEA sells Murphy beds, but they don't not allow us to assemble them, because the nature of a Murphy bed being what it is, there's no way to guarantee that it will ever stay to the wall, no matter how well you mount it. So because of that, they don't even offer a Murphy bed for flat rate installation, because there's no way to warranty it. We solely put that on the customer to assemble. Now, under furniture assembly, yeah, you can assemble a Murphy bed, no problem. So I had a request to not put together just one, but 2 Murphy beds with attached bookshelves, and one had like a attached really tall dresser and stuff. And it was a very lucrative job. I'm telling you, if it would have taken me and my buddy Duncan, it would have taken both of us, and it would have taken us 2 full days of work to do just those beds, not to include the other things that she had. And this is a very lucrative job that I had to pass on because of the complications with the client. The client was just so unrealistic. She wanted it done today, or at least started, not today, but the day that she requested it. She wanted it done, at least started that day. And she's like, well, I'm sure it can only take one person. I'm like, I'm looking at the information you sent, and could I start on it? Yeah, I could start on it, but I'm not gonna be able to get anything done without another pair of hands because of how tall this thing is. And the way that it's built, me and Duncan have built these together before. The way that they're built, it's like built on the ground, and then you need 2 people to lift it up and put it on the wall. It's like this whole thing. Like, you need a lot of room to assemble these things. And the last time we did one, we showed up at 10. We didn't leave until like 9 o'clock at night. It was a full crazy day. It was lucrative, and that was one of the hardest things to put together too. Not to mention the instructions. It wasn't an IKEA item. It was like from Wayfair or Overstock.com or something like that. And so those instructions are actually a lot more complicated than IKEA, because what they're doing is in the instructions, IKEA goes very, very step by step, and for someone that has been working on a lot of IKEA items, those instructions are very easily translatable. But other companies that do other knockdown furniture, that stuff is really complicated because they condense so much information into one page. It's like, so for IKEA, you might have a 30-page book, but it doesn't take like 10 hours to put together, because it's every piece that goes together has a documentation. Whereas a lot of these other companies, you'll have 4, 5, 6, 7 steps on one page. And it's like, all right, hold on, what am I doing? And it's like the pictures are so fine and so tiny, you have no idea what you're even looking at. And all the screws and everything look exactly the same. It's just a giant headache. So yeah, would that have been a nice job? I mean, I've done those jobs before, and I would have loved to have done it. But because of complications, there's no way that I can do it. There's no way I can justify, not just the items involved, but mainly the client. Just working with a difficult client. Whenever I get a client that's like that, I just wouldn't listen to some people. Today, there's a portion or like massive unit. You need 2 people, and that's the thing, man. I've had so many customers that, being the person that builds this stuff, I could easily say, this is some of the easiest stuff in the world to build. It is. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Anyone can get good at assembling furniture. It's one of the easiest jobs in the world. Once you've had enough practice and you implement enough, time and dedication, it's very simple to get into. It's very simple. Mastering it's another thing, but anyway, it's not rocket science. It's basically what I'm trying to convey. But even given said that, it is a lot of work. Just because it's easy doesn't mean that I'm trying to phrase this properly. It's easy for me because I'm very experienced with it. Let me just say that, first and foremost. It's easy for me because of the amount of knowledge and experience I had for it. And yes, I do believe that anyone out there can learn the same thing that I have and get to my skill level. I think it's easy. You just take the time, your dedication, blah, 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 get on it, right? Given said that, I've had people downplay what I do. They make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world right off the bat. And I've literally asked clients, well, if it's so easy, why didn't you do it? And they have one excuse or another, and it's like, look, it's hard for you because you don't even know where to begin. I'm someone that's been a master of doing this. And I've literally had people that want me to put together an entire massive PAX wardrobe for $80. A job that I would be there for 12 hours. It's like, you want me to be here for essentially less than minimum wage. It's like, that's not how it works. So I've had some horror stories, man. There are some clients that I just thumbs them down, never want to do anything with them ever again, just because they're difficult clients, because they don't understand, like, yeah, it's easy because I took the time over the course of years to get good at it. So yeah, do I make it look easy? Yeah. Does that mean that you're gonna downplay the work that I do? Just because it's easy doesn't make it any less hard. Doesn't, you still gotta lift this stuff, I gotta, hammer, nail, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's easy, but it's hard. That's like the number one way I could describe building IKEA furniture. Let me speed up, let these guys pass. Okay, cool. So look at the comments or something. Hey, what's up? Oh yeah, the happiness pledge has been going away too. No, not in Cali. Well, the nature of an employee thing is hourly. That's, at least as far as the legalities of it, employees are usually set an hourly rate. And then on top of it, you an hourly rate with the expectations and direction of work and scope to be done, or the scope of work to be done. That's where the employee thing comes in. So yeah, you could make the argument that IKEA is employee-ish just because of the guidelines of it, but not from the flat rate perspective. The flat rate perspective, if anything, is very much in line with independent contractor work. It's like, here's the job that we're requesting to be done, and here's how much we're willing to pay. Do you agree? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, fantastic. That is contract work. That, you go, you bid a job, you put the numbers out, and you get an approval or denial. That's how that works. But the scope and direction and the micromanagement of everything to be done, that is very employee related. So, but because of the flat rate element, it kind of encroaches away from that. Yeah. So in a perfect world, the way that the IKEA program would work is IKEA would say, hey, client, you want this work done? Okay, you want this desk assembled? All right, it's gonna cost you X amount of dollars. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna assign it to a tasker. And the way the TaskRabbit IKEA would then find the person to do that job is they would pay that person hourly. So depending on how long that person was there, that's how much money they're gonna make. So if if IKEA did it just right, they would just get they would figure it out who it would be. But it wouldn't be beneficial for them to get the cheapest person, because the cheapest person isn't the quickest. They would try to get the quickest person. It's like, all right, so in the history of all the IKEA jobs that we've done, who has worked on expensive, like really time-intensive units, but has been there for the shortest amount of time? For me, I've done 30-hour jobs in 11 hours. You bill the client for a 30-hour job, you hire me to do the same work at 11 hours. I'm making my hourly rate, so I'm happy, and then IKEA is happy because all that extra money goes to them. But then in which case, then I should just fucking hire the client off platform on my own, negotiate our own shit. Anyway. Yeah, and the happiness pledges, they're phasing it out. And the reason why, I'm telling you, the happiness pledge is going to go away. In 2020, I give it until August, September timeframe, you're going to see it being phased out. Maybe 2021, so I'll say I could be wrong, but I'll put it down that the happiness pledge will be gone this year. Second half of this year, they'll phase it out. Because they're already slowly fading it away. Because let's face facts, what is a happiness pledge? That's just TaskRabbit. That's just their hush money. they don't actually have insurance. If anything happens, they're out of pocket for it. That's why it's all up to their discretion. It is solely up to the discretion of TaskRabbit if they pay out, if there's damages or anything. And that's why we need business licenses starting in April. When you get a business license for whatever county you're in and whatever state, what comes along with a business license? It's Q&A time. Do you guys know what comes along with a business license? In order to open up and have an LLC with a business license or a sole proprietorship with a business license attached to it, what do you need to show the state? General liability insurance. You need to have you need to have insurance. Like, the state mandates you have insurance for fucking everything. You have to have insurance to drive your car. You have to have insurance to operate your business. So that's why the Happiness Pledge is going to go away, because once they start mandating business licenses, then the taskers on our own, we're already going to have our insurance. So then once that's established, we have to submit our business info to TaskRabbit along with our liability insurance. So if anything were to ever happen with a task that we're on, the client then, complains to our insurance company. That's how that works. You would go with general liability because it's like a wide scope. So whenever you go to get your general liability insurance as a company, when you have your business license, you list out the type of work that you do. So yeah, if I go to get general liability insurance and all I work on is furniture, then that means all the jobs that I work on have to be furniture jobs. I can't, because my insurance company will drop me if I do anything else. But let's say that I also mount picture frames and stuff. Well, then I have to include like mounting and stuff like that. But let's say I wanted to also work on appliances. I don't need a separate insurance policy with a separate insurance company. I just have to include it on my general liability. It's like, all right, for my general liability, I'm also doing furniture assembly, mounting. I do light electrical, which if you do electrical, then with your insurance company, you have to provide them with your proper licensing. So let's say I do appliances, and I have whatever stuff that falls along with that. So like refrigerators, microwaves, this, that, and the other. Then my insurance rates are gonna go up. The more things that I do, the higher the cost of my general liability. Yo, what's up, man? You working that crane game, huh? Nice and high, 5 stories up. Getting those big package units fucking on lock, man. The times that I have worked with cranes, and placing in whatever the package units, man, it's sketchy, man. Because like when you look at it, it's like, what, you got like a ratchet strap holding this big ass fucking 3-ton or more weight-wise unit. I mean, it's like, holy shit. It's very like, and this shit's like hanging right over you as it goes. Oh man, it's cranes, man, cranes. Alright, so the first time I was on the roof of a commercial application, they told me I had to go direct the crane, and I told them I have no idea how to direct the crane. Like I've been a ground guide for like MRAPs and big ass trucks and shit. Like when I was in the Army, like the ground guide shit, directing where to fucking put the goddamn truck. But I've never actually had to do like real ground guide work for a fucking crane. I've never had to do that. So I told them, hey man, I have no idea how to direct a crane. It's like, what the fuck? And they got pissed. They started talking shit, and it's like, oh, you're fucking useless, piece of shit. Oh my god, like it's fucking like, dude, hold on. Yeah, I mean, come on, I'm brand new. It's my first week here. I've never worked on commercial applications before. What the hell, man? I could go on and on about why I'm glad I don't do HVAC anymore. I love the work. The work itself is cool. The technology is very fascinating, but it's the fucking people, man. I can't stand the people in HVAC. I mean, I've had some good experiences, but I've also had some really bad ones, and the bad outweigh the good. It's a very toxic environment, but you can say that about any industry. Any industry you can say. Like doing the TaskRabbit furniture assembly stuff, I've worked with some people that think that they're like the tip of God's dick when it comes to fucking putting together fucking furniture. Like their heads get so fucking inflated because they know how to fucking screw in a fucking screw and fucking lock it in the cam lock. They think that they're the best. Oh, I know how to put a dowel in. I'm the smartest guy in the world. Or I know how to turn an Allen wrench. Look how smart I am. I'm the fucking best. Like, humble your fucking self, dude. Make it seem like you're fucking Elon Musk or some shit. That you're, I built this cabinet. It can fly us to the fucking moon. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, I've literally gone to jobs, IKEA flat rate jobs, right? Work with another guy, get to the job, and the job's all fucked up. I do whatever I have to do because I'm the other guy there. And the fucking guy that I was on the phone with, that is the secondary tasker with me on that job, the guy that was talking shit, acting like I don't know shit because it's like, oh, I'm way better at that. It's like, dude, we haven't even met. You have no idea how many jobs I've done. I built more furniture, more complicated furniture, way quicker than he did. He was still dicking around with fucking office chairs when I had the whole rest of the bedroom. We're talking nightstands, dresser, fucking, like everything in the fucking bedroom was fucking handled. But no, he was still dicking around trying to figure out how to fucking put a goddamn chair together, It's like, yeah, save your shit talking, all right? Because obviously you ain't all it, man. And that's what's I can't stand about working with other people. Working with other people is like, people like, it's cool, man. If you've been working in a trade long enough and you're knowledgeable, own that shit, man. Yeah, if you're knowledgeable about something, totally own it. But humble yourself. Don't fucking downplay another person that's getting into the work and wants to learn and shit. If you get someone new that comes into your industry, that's the life motherfucking blood of your industry. All right, the lifeblood of HVAC or paving roads or any fucking industry in the world is having new people come in. And if you have this old boy mentality where if new blood comes in and the first thing you think to do is to fucking talk shit about how they're worthless and it's like, well, I've been doing this 20 fucking years, therefore that I'm superior and you're just dog shit. You're just going to alienate people from coming into that industry. Because no matter how interesting that field might be, HVAC, for example, very interesting science behind, the mechanics of it, the engineering and, the scientific progression that we've made, over, hell, even the last decade, the way that we've pushed. I got lost on a tangent. What I'm ultimately saying is, no matter how interesting that the industry might be, if you alienate people enough, you're just going to push them out of your industry. There's going to be a higher demand in that industry, absolutely, but no one's going to want to stick around long enough. If you're dealing with shit people, you know what I mean? Don't send me stickers. I appreciate the offer, but do not do it. I'm not the biggest fan of stickers. I don't do anything with them. I appreciate it. I appreciate the offer. But you just keep doing you, man. I don't do stickers for anything. It's like, what the hell am I going to put a sticker on? I don't do bumper stickers. When you buy a new phone and you get that stupid sticker in the box, I throw that shit right in the trash. Why am I going to put stickers on shit? What am I, fucking 5? Don't take that the wrong way, please. Stickers are cool for like marketing purposes. Like, when, let's say you're handing out a business card, like, oh, here's a sticker too. People like it. They like being given something. And yeah, stickers is something cool to have. Me personally, I can't. I don't do stickers, flyers. I mean, I'll do a business card. I'll do business cards all fucking day long. I've got business cards filling up my wallet. Like, business cards are cool. It's always nice to have that. I'm one of those guys, old school, Do you guys do the magnetic stickers on the truck? Well, no, your shit's probably like vinyled on. No, my mom, she ran her own business, her own drywall company. Drywall by Katie in Southern California, man. And she had those magnetic stickers, right? Why am I calling it a sticker? It was like the magnetic logo with all the contact information and shit. She had those on the truck, and surprisingly, like, they never actually flew off or anything. Yeah, send KC. He'll take your stickers, man. He'll take your stickers. No, I want stories. I like stories. I like a good dialogue, you know? Tell me a story. That's what Macy Boy wants to hear. I want to hear a story, okay? Because if you've been working in whatever trade that you've been working in for an extended amount of time, trust me, you're going to have some stories about it. There you go. Right there, man. You're taking that whole branding thing like to the next level, man. I know what you're talking about, man. I feel you. Are you using like Teespring, or there's another one? I can't remember the name of it. It's better than Teespring, but it's more so in line with drop shipping. Can't remember the name of it, but there's a better t-shirt company to do that mass production, on demand t-shirts. But it is used a lot with drop shipping. You've been gone for a minute. Who? Tool Life? Me, Mace? I've been going through some shit, and I don't want to stream when I'm like in a crazy negative like headspace, because I don't want to push that. Like, you guys aren't here to listen to my fucking problems. You guys are here to be entertained and to be a part of this community. And, you know, I want to strive that we have some positivity in this community, and I don't want to be that downer. Okay, and there are some times, especially lately, I've been going through some shit. Things have not been easy, but I've been working on it. And I don't think that that's necessary to push on to you guys. I've done it in the past. I've pushed out my personal bullshit. That's not why you guys are here. All right, we're here to have fun and to, you know, just chill with one another. So that's what I want to provide. That's what my focus is. That's why I haven't really been live streaming too much lately. You know, because like, what's the point of live streaming my fucking problems? Y'all got problems. We all got problems. Okay. Yeah, this is. I'm actually gonna have to end the stream. I need to pull over and make a phone call. So, last questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, words of encouragement, etc. They're doing it everywhere. That's why they're doing it. They're doing it everywhere. Because of Assembly Bill 5, it's just easy. Yes, Diet Coke, but it's just easier for them to just widespread it. Because because California is their biggest industry. It's their biggest geographical location. So it's being widespread everywhere. At least in the States. I know in the UK and Canada, it's a little different. Each country kind of operates in their own way. So, but to make things easy in the States, that's kind of how they're doing it. What's going to happen is once that whole business license thing comes up, is you're gonna notice that a lot of taskers are gonna drop off. If you're doing this as like a part-time thing, like on the weekends, you're not going to spend the money you're not going to take on the overhead of the business license and all that shit that it entails just to work 2, maybe 3 weekends a month doing this stuff on the side. It's not worth it. So a lot of those part-timer taskers, they're just going to say fuck off to TaskRabbit in general. They're going to figure out something else. That's ultimately what's going to happen. Anything else before I bounce? The line's getting long. Oh, that's too long of an answer. If you watch back on the VOD, probably about 20-30 minutes ago, I kind of went into some issues with clients I had recently. As always, I'm your host, so glorious and beloved Mace Valor, signing off.